Duncan is a narrow-gauge tank engine. He means well, but does get a little rude and grumpy. He complains about everything, too. One day, Duncan pulled into the shed after taking the coal to the wharf. "All this extra work, it wears an engine out," he grumbled. "Do stop complaining," said Luke. "What are you talking about, Luke?" said Duncan. "I've always overworked, and nobody cares." "Well, you do act reckless," said Luke, "just like Max and Monty do." "What are Max and Monty?" asked Duncan. "They're dumb-truck twins who work at this sort of construction company. They are reckless and rude, and get a little devious and play tricks on the other machines, but they work well, in fact." "Pah!" snorted Duncan. "If I am ever made those two, I'll show them a thing or two." "Well, they're twins all right," said Luke. "Just like us," said Mighty. "Your two are just conjoined engines," said Duncan. "That's because we're double engines," replied Mac. Just then, Mr. Percival walked over. "Duncan, I want you to help work with the pack. They're working at the digging site." "Bother," rumbled Duncan. "Rubbish," said his driver. "Let's go." So Duncan set off. Sure enough, the pack was working on the digging site. Max and Monty were the ones working there, but they were often acting recklessly. They would have to do zigzag spin-arounds. And often play tricks on the other machines. Duncan was cross when he arrived at the quarry. "We're glad you're here to help, Duncan," said Jack. "Well, let's be quick about it," grumbled Duncan. While Jack, Alfie, and Oliver were loading Max and Monty, they also had to load the trucks. Duncan grumbled endlessly, but the pack just ignored him. But Max and Monty found Duncan's grumbling funny. They would often tease him whenever they get back from the dump. This just made Duncan even crosser. Later that day, Max and Monty decided to take a rest. Jack, Alfie, and Oliver loaded the last waste into his cars. "Finally, that job is done with," said Duncan. But the trucks were very annoyed with Duncan's grumbling and decided to get back at him. As they traveled along, their trick began. On, they yelled. Stop, cried Duncan. But Duncan couldn't stop his trucks in time and crashed right into a bad piece of track. "Buttersmart, Butfuzz!" cried Duncan. Matt was called to take Duncan to the works. As they passed the digging site, they found Max and Monty still there. "We're sorry we teased you, Duncan," said Max. "We didn't mean it," said Monty. "Apology accepted, and I'm sorry I was rude." The twins accepted his apology, and Max took him away.